our weekly Facebook Live. Every Wednesday we do this around 12:30, but a little late today, but that's okay because we have a wonderful guest that many of you already know. Neil Willenson happens to be Vice President at Kapco Incorporated and so much more. And Neil, you've done so many wonderful things over the years. You founded Camp Heartland. You were once the most eligible bachelor in Milwaukee. Now it's over.
20 years ago.
You're happily
Talk about old news. That is really old news. Now you've upset my wife.
Well, I'm starting with old positive news.
Okay.
So that's okay. But Neil, thank you for joining us because we're going to talk about something that is really very special. And it had its inaugural year last year. And it's the Kids to Kids Christmas Wonderland that people have just raved about. Can you tell us, for people who don't know what this is, is Kapco Incorporated doing, and why is this a great thing for everybody in the community?
You know, in 2006, Jonathan Green was at TMJ Radio and really had this amazing idea with Jim Kazmarek that he wanted to teach children the spirit of giving. And, you know, there's so much need. There's so many low-income children that face trauma, children that face adversity, and many of those kids literally don't get a toy under the Christmas tree. So Jonathan said, I want to provide toys for those kids. And he recruited Jim Kazmarek, and Jim is a community leader, humanitarian, said, I'm in. But the goal was a little bit different. It wasn't just to buy toys for low-income kids. It was to teach the spirit of giving. They wanted children to buy toys for other children. And they set the modest goal of 1,000 toys that year. And now fast forward 16 years later, last year we had 26,000 brand new toys collected and distributed to Salvation Army and like 30 other local charities that ensure that they get in the hands of children that are so deserving.
You know, it's such a great idea. And families, you know, one of the best ways that mothers and fathers can teach their kids that the world is about us all giving back and taking part is to, you know, use this time, Christmas, Hanukkah, to share with others.
It is. You know, I just reflect on kids that face hardships in this community, and there's so many wonderful charities. I mean, I have the list of who we give to. It's like Salvation Army, Vivint Health, which helps adults and children with HIV/AIDS, Our Next Generation, Make-A-Wish, Jewish Family Services. It's a long list, Carole.
Yes.
But there is a sense of hopelessness. The holidays can be really hard for people if they're not provided for. And this situation with Kids to Kids Christmas, it makes a huge difference, not only for the recipient, but for the giver as well. So just looking back at the history, I applaud Jonathan Green and Jim Kazmarek for this concept. But now it's really fair to say that thousands of children at dozens of schools and businesses, and at our Christmas Wonderland, which is a big light show I'm sure we'll talk about, we collected 13,000 toys through that Wonderland route last year. It was pretty amazing.
Now, I have to tell everybody, if you're listening, this is Neil Willenson, and this is Lunch with Carole. We are talking about a wonderful project that really gives kids a chance to smile during the holiday season and gives toys. And we have, Kapco Incorporated has been doing this for years and been actually getting people to donate toys for kids. And also kids are actually bringing toys in. So Neil, I love the fact that this Christmas Wonderland is also going to use this opportunity so that we can give to people, to kids and families.
Yeah, I think we had to course correct, like a lot of businesses and a lot of nonprofits. We looked at COVID and said, well, we typically have a one-day event called Christmas at Kapco where 2,000 or 3,000 people come. They bring on that one day about 10,000 toys. We have live reindeer, all this amazing stuff. Well, how could we do that during COVID? It was an indoor event and an outdoor event. And so I went to Jim Kazmarek. I said, well, how about we just do a drive-through? And I wasn't thinking what we have now, because when you take an idea to a visionary, he says, okay, that's cool. But no, we're going to have the biggest and brightest light show in the area. And there's amazing light shows. And we're just honored to be among them. But last year was a major success. So we did this drive-through light show. It's on the corner of Highway 60 in Cheyenne and Grafton. If you're on Highway 60 at night, you cannot miss it. I mean, you could probably see it from space. It's incredible. There's something like 3 million light bulbs. There's inflatables. There are 3 light tunnels that no one has in this region. Incredible things. There's a Christmas village. Our friends at First Stage actually helped us build.
I love everything. That is so cool.
Isn't it amazing?
It just makes your heart sing.
It really, and we have ice skaters on some nights and villagers and a nativity scene. And it's very joyful. And so during COVID, which was so hard the last year, we had 11,000 cars, just shy of 11,000 cars drive through with over 50,000 people. And it really did bring people joy. But beyond that, we collected some nights $1,000 cash, which we used to buy toys. We collected on some good nights 300 to 500 or even more toys. And in the end, last year, despite COVID and despite the fact that a lot of schools were virtual and couldn't do the toy drives for us, we still collected and distributed 26,000 toys. So now that schools are back and businesses back, I bet we'll top 30,000 toys this year.
Oh, I believe so easily. And, one of the great things about this is people can actually donate toys if they like. And you're asking that they not be wrapped, Neil.
Yeah, the reason they're not wrapped is a lot of them go to the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army does an incredible job. They have something called the Toy Shop, where they put out tens of thousands of toys, and families can apply depending on income and other adversity that they face. They can apply to be a recipient. And let's say it's a mom and a few kids. The mom can go and literally shop for the kids. It's no charge. Yeah, but she can go and look at all the different toys. And if they're wrapped, they can't really see what the toys are. So our toys have to be new and they have to be unwrapped. And it's very heartwarming. The Wonderland route, the Christmas Wonderland route ends in a tent, and a few thousand of the toys are on display. And it's just very, very heartwarming, because it's not like a toy store. You know that every toy you see at Kids to Kids Christmas at Kapco, someone thought of someone else. And in most cases, a child has thought about another child. So when you see 1,000 Barbie dolls, that one Barbie doll that a little girl put out, she was thinking of another little girl. It's very touching and heartwarming to see that.
It's such a great lesson too, if you want to teach your kids. And, one of the best things, I remember we were there last year. Now, for people who don't have time to shop or maybe aren't able to do it right away, you can always give checks or cash donations, correct?
Yeah, we have a website, kids2kidstoydrive.com, kids2kidstoydrive.com. The tickets for Wonderland are on sale. The Christmas route is only $20 per car. So if you have 5 or 6 people in a car, everyone has to have a seatbelt, but 5 or 6 people per vehicle, it's only $20 during the weekdays, and we're open from 5 to 8 on most weekdays. And on weekends, when it gets pretty busy, we're open from 5 to 9. Santa's there most nights, and it's just a terrific, 15, 20-minute experience. And I know, based on feedback, we had people that came through many, many times throughout the season. It really is a lot of joy. It's the brightest event in town, for sure.
Yes, and if you do want to give, there we have James, our digital producer, was nice enough to put that up on the screen. So we, Kids to Kids Toy Drive is just such an amazing event. And Neil, I'm just so proud of what you've done. And you continue to give back and be a goodwill ambassador for everybody. I mean, for those who don't know, you founded Camp Heartland, which helped kids with AIDS or living with HIV or AIDS. And, that was such a wonderful, monumental task. And now you're moving on to other jobs that you're doing and serving the community. It's just incredible.
Well, that's so nice to say. I'm flattered by that, but it's a blessing because, there are, even watching any kind of newscast, it can be depressing. I mean, you're a journalist, you're reporting on these stories, and it's depressing. And sometimes you want to shrug your shoulders and just turn the channel and say, oh my God, there's nothing that I can do. But it's a privilege when there actually is something that you can do. And I guarantee if people come to Wonderland, if they bring a toy, that toy is going to end up in the hands of a child that really is truly deserving and in need of that support. And that's a good feeling to rather than turning the channel and saying, there's nothing I can do, to actually roll up our sleeves, get involved, and make a difference.
Yeah, it is still those small moments or those small gestures that really collect and really do good for all of us and the greater good. So we can't think that we have to give up just because we're disappointed about the way things might be going today. And that's a good point, Neil.
The world's a good place. It doesn't always feel like it. Social media can be nasty. I mean, this is such a lovely and wonderful, positive way of using social media, but the news can be depressing. But I see so many more good people than bad people. And if you come to Kids, it's just such a celebration, from the volunteers to the little elves, they're kids that are dressed as elves
so cute.
that help Santa. I mean, it really is. It's just so full of joy. And I think our mission at Kapco and all the things we do is just to bring people from a place of hopelessness to one of hope. There's brighter tomorrows ahead, indeed.
I've always loved talking to you, Neil. You know how to say it well, and you're such a good community ambassador. We need you in the Milwaukee area, and we're blessed, really. We are to have you.
Thanks,
and Neil, so you ready for Thanksgiving?
I am. Will I see you? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go to my sister's because this is the first year I'm not without my mom, so our family's going to get together.
And we're doing that as well. My family's heading down to Chicago, and it's good to be together. My arm is hurting from my booster right now, but we're all going to be together this year, which is a real blessing, to say the least.
That's the most important.
It's the things that we took for granted for years. Laura Kazmarek, Jim's wife, showed a picture of her standing next to Giannis on the court, and she says, "I missed the Bucks." This is like a year ago, and I said, "I miss standing next to people." So it's just good to be together again.
Yeah, I just miss human beings, but now we're back, and I think things are looking better, and
Thank you.
humanity is good. I feel good about life and the holidays, and talking to you, Neil, always makes us all feel good. So thank you for joining me this week on Lunch with Carole Meekins, and I hope to see you in person soon.
That'd be great. Thank you for the time. Thank you, everybody. Kids2KidsToyDrive.com. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.